DramaCityProductions.com.
You are plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA-related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PODWRES Society so that you can stay in the know.
Space is the place, and the sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the one and only Troy Adams.
This episode is dedicated to the memory of former WWE champion and Hall of Famer Pedro Morales, born October 22nd, 1942, and died February 12th, 2019. Rest in peace, Pedro.
Oh, Daddy, it's Wrestling Wednesday on the American Dream of Wrestling podcast, the Podcast Wrestling Society. I'm your loving leader, benevolent host, Midwest Monster, and the man who will make your back crack, your liver quiver, and your knees freeze. And if you don't dig that mess, you at the wrong address. I'm Troy Adams, and joining me today, he is the son of a plumber man, the common man himself. You don't get much more common than Greg. What is up, Greg? Are you supposed to be Gold Dust, or are you smoking something?
I'm glad you got that. Okay.
Well, I was going to say, that's why I said, are you smoking
I'm
something?
I'm not under the Brooklyn Bridge, man. I'm not smoking anything yet.
The good puff! Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what.
That's wrestling's other royal family, you know.
Wow. Thank God, man, we are out of the year 1995. It felt like a purgatory or a hell that would never end.
Well, I was pissed off at all of our listeners for some reason. So,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, our listeners. Well, we were pissed because they voted for it.
It's true.
So there is that. But yeah, man.
Hashtag not our fault.
Yeah, not totally. I mean, we did put it on a poll. Put it on a poll. But it wasn't totally our fault.
And they took the bait.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But it's over, and you can't cry about the past.
Thank God. Well, because of being done and over with all that crap, we are finally on to something good for a change. We are on to WrestleMania. Thank God.
Where's the good?
Yeah, because this is going to be much worse than 1995.
Ooh, can we do WrestleMania 11 again? I feel like we have to.
Let's not. But for all of you that are dying to hear our review, it is in the archives. I don't know why you'd be dying to hear that, but, whatever. If you can't get enough WrestleMania, we cover that and WCW Uncensored 1995 all in one neat little package.
I feel like that episode alone is like an advertisement for suicide, so maybe you shouldn't listen to it.
Wow.
Now I feel bad about it.
I don't know, man. If you're not having to watch it and you're just listening to us, like, I've listened back to that episode a couple times now. I know it's weird. I listened back to my own podcast multiple times, but seriously, it was a good episode. It was comedy gold, and I'm not talking about us. I'm just talking about us, just talking about the show. It was comedy gold. It was something. I'll tell you that. But anyway.
Yeah, but what?
I think we should, what?
Let's get off this, please.
Yeah. Giggity.
Enough.
I think it is time, before we get into the news here, there's only 2 stories that I just wanted to discuss with you. Past that, there's not really any news. I want to get into our actual subject at hand right here. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you all about various things we plug each and every week here on the podcast. First of all, WrestlingWithWrestling.com has all the latest news from across the wrestling world that we don't get to cover here on the podcast because we only have so much time once a week. But if you go to WrestlingWithWrestling.com, they've got the news from WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact Wrestling, and abroad. You know, you want to know the indie news here in the United States or across the pond, go for it. They've got stuff from Pro Wrestling Noah. They've got show reviews. They've got other great podcasts as well. You can go check out interviews with current wrestlers and former wrestlers and wrestling personalities. They've got just tons of stuff to keep you occupied and to quench your thirst for professional wrestling. It's WrestlingWithWrestling.com, covering all four corners of the ring. And if you go to DramaCityProductions.com, you can check up on all the podcasts on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. There are some real awesome ones that we talk about here on the show. Besides this one right here, we've added a ton of new ones, dropped some old ones. So go check it out. It's constantly evolving in the DCP network. And you can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But definitely go to DramaCityProductions.com/PodRest Society. There you can see the links to where you can buy our merchandise. We've got some great stuff, logos and artwork and whatnot. You can get it on a variety of different merch. Go check it out. As I said, DramaCityProductions.com/PodRest Society. There you can check out our Redbubble store and our Spreadshirt store and get some awesome swag, bro. And you could get the look, bro. And now that we are done shilling all that we need to shill, I think it's about time to get into the news, don't you?
You want me to get in? Oh, the news. Sorry, never mind. Yes, let's get into the news.
Wait a second. Are you in El Nudo right now?
No, no.
Because you sound naked.
Well, you know who my idol is, right?
Oh gosh. I had to think about it for like a half a second, and I'm like, damn it.
I feel like you walked me into this transition.
Maybe I did.
I
don't know.
Say it, damn it, say it.
Open your mouth. All right. Anyway, let's hit the damn.
Naked Midian. There, someone had to say it. Come on.
Let's hit the damn bell and get into the news. All right. Well, there's really only two stories at hand here. One of them, before you say what you need, because I know you're going to have comments on this, before you say what you need to say, listen to me lay all this crap out, all right? Double or Nothing sold out fairly quickly in fairly short order. That being said, I'll say this. And I've said this about WWE because you and I have experienced scalpers in the past that just jack up prices ridiculously. The promoter doesn't care. I mean, sure, they'd like to have people in those seats, but as long as they have that sweet, sweet dollar in their pocket, they don't care. However, on the flip side, it was not all fans that bought these tickets. I have proof on my Twitter. A guy bought 4 tickets at a total price of $400. Turned around and sold them, or is trying to sell them, for over $300 a pop.
Yeah.
That's stupid. And I retweeted, because this guy's trying to sell it on Twitter, and he's not just saying this, like, he had, like, actual proof. He blanked out his credit card information, but he had proof that he had the tickets. And he posted it, and he was like, if anybody wants to buy them off of me, it's this price. And I retweeted it, and I said, it's a-holes like this why we can't have nice things. And he said, oh, no, you can have nice things, but you gotta pay for them.
Well, he's not wrong, but...
Yeah, but it's like,
still.
Man, what a dick. And he's not the only one. There are a lot of people out there like that.
I mean, I can't say anything otherwise because, same thing for WWE. And I would say exactly what you said, too. I mean, they sold them, so that's all that matters.
Exactly.
But,
yeah, cause I don't think Cody...
I mean, come on, though. People are not... I'm sorry, I don't believe people are traveling from Australia to come see this. I don't believe that. I think those were bought specifically to resell. But
quite possibly.
I could be
Either
wrong,
that or they had a... I mean, I could totally see them using this as an excuse. They're like, well, we've always wanted to go to Vegas. Let's go to the show while we're there. I could see...
No, it's very possible.
Yeah. I mean, Vegas is a vacation location, so that's like you. If you want to, in the future, and I'm not trying to rub this in. I'm just bringing this up. In the future, you're like, yeah, I kind of want to go to Vegas. Let's go see the Raiders while we're down there. You know what I mean?
That's going to be my reason to go, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I know you said you've always wanted to go to Vegas.
I'm saving a trip there for that, when they play the Chargers, so
yeah.
That's my thing.
Screw the Chargers, by the way, but that's beside the point.
Well, hell yeah.
But yeah, it just Cody and the Bucks aren't sitting there like, oh no, some of these people might not show up that bought our tickets. They don't care. Same thing with like.
Well, I mean, they might be, but not in that way.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it does kind of suck that they're trying to give them to actual. And I consider knock it all day, but
yeah,
there are people that legit want to go, and they weren't. Maybe they had like a life and they had a job and they couldn't be on the internet right there at 7 to grab them all, or 10 Eastern, whatever it was. So they couldn't get them all right away, and the idiots in their basements got them all.
Well, screw you, Greg, for having a life.
Hey, when I got your WrestleMania tickets, I actually, full disclosure, I was at work, and I begged my coworkers, guys, I got to step off for like 5 minutes. So you can do it still, but, sometimes you can't. But, point being, I can knock it all day, but it's not fair to be like, they deserve it. They just screwed some fans out of going. That's messed up to me.
Yep. I totally agree.
No, I'm not going to be. I don't want to be hypocritical on it, but WrestleMania is a different story. It's a huge show, so of course they're going to try to benefit off that. But this is like the first show. Why do it now? I mean,
because they did the same thing with All In, but now they're saying, oh, well, we know for a fact, because with All In they were hoping. With this one, they're like, well, we know for a fact people will want to go to this one. It's the same people that went to All In, generally speaking. So it was.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I don't think it was. I think there were still scalper problems with that too. Even Uncle Dave said it.
Oh, with All In, absolutely, yeah. That's why I said it was. It was the same thing, but I think it's on a bigger scale even now than it was even then, just because people know for a fact they can get money. I
just hate it. I think it's.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Two things in my opinion ruined. Well. Ruined what we knew of the wrestling business from the past. Those two things being cable television, like across the country, and like that completely. Because people say, "Well, Vince McMahon killed the territories." No, cable killed the territories. Let's be honest. The other thing is this crap right here. This didn't happen so much back in the '90s or whatever.
I would tie this with the internet, but yeah, right.
Yeah, the internet was a big deal too. And
this ties in with it, though. I mean, this is all web-based.
Yep.
And it's just, I want to sit here and talk crap about it, but I can't. It's it's horrible.
Yeah, and I'm sure if there was...
I have my opinions on it, like I've said, and I've stated them, but it'll fail. People keep doing this crap.
Yeah. And I'm sure if there was...
Well, maybe it won't fail. They'll still get their money, but they're going to have empty houses if people are just sitting on tickets that they couldn't sell.
Right.
I mean...
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm sure same thing with WWE, if they could do something about it, I'm sure they would try, but what the hell are you going to do?
Well, here's the thing. They flat out partnered with StubHub. They're, in essence, encouraging it.
Wow. Okay, well, then I stand corrected.
I mean, it says it on their site, official partner, or StubHub's an official partner, or vice versa, whatever.
Ugh.
Like, it's the official ticket resale thing. So...
I feel that StubHub themselves should do something about crap like this.
Yeah, I mean...
There needs to be some kind of regulation. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
You should see the WrestleMania tickets prices, man. It's crazy.
Oh, I
get that it's New York, okay? It's a bigger market, but hell no, man. No.
Well, I know what the the trouble you went through in New Orleans just trying to get Raw and SmackDown tickets. So
yeah, I literally waited till like a couple of days before I flew out.
Yeah, well, yeah, you did with SmackDown, right? With Raw, didn't you buy like day of or something?
I did. Yeah, but the SmackDown ones, that was a different story. Those were cheaper. But the WrestleMania ones, I got right away. So
right. Man.
And for the seats I got the Hall of Fame for only $80, clearly, I got those day one.
Right.
I mean, those would have been like $400 or $500 piece easy, the ones we got.
Yep.
Resale value, I mean.
It's pathetic. But yeah, so there's that.
Also, I want to point out to anyone, the trick is to wait till later. The prices always go down.
There you go.
And someone will go unmentioned, but people who buy resale tickets need to learn this. You get them late.
I'm definitely going to do that from now on. I'm going to try to buy day of or the day before or something.
Yeah.
So, but either way, there's that. Also, with the sellout, I guess they have set records for that venue. So,
yeah, but
whatever that's worth.
to piss on it, but it is only 2 years old. So that's
yeah. Well, I don't know if it was for the venue or for the city. I can't remember.
I know it was the first wrestling one in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, that might have been it.
I think UFC, the one with Connor and Khabib, I think it was that one. That's the gate holder. So.
Well, there you go.
No shock there, though.
Right. Yeah. Moving on to the other story here. This just broke. Well, by the time you're hearing this, it broke a week ago. But
what are you talking about? We're recording on Wednesday.
Yeah, right, yeah. Jimmy Uso is free on bond following an arrest of disorderly conduct and obstruction. As of the listening of this, he may or may not have been at Elimination Chamber. Don't know. According to TMZ Sports, Uso, real name Jonathan Salofa Fatu, was arrested after being pulled over near downtown Detroit. Uso's wife, Trinity Fatu, a.k.a. Naomi, was allegedly driving in the wrong direction on a one-way street when they were pulled over. Police noted that their car smelled of alcohol. As the police were talking with Naomi, Uso allegedly exited the car despite commands from police and took off his shirt and jacket as if they were about to engage in a fight. The police officer then said that they had taken out their taser in fear for his safety. Uso was eventually calmed down and complied with police, then was arrested for disorderly conduct and obstruction. He was taken to jail, where he later posted bond and was released. WWE has since released a statement saying Jonathan Fatu is responsible for his own personal actions. What does that even mean?
I don't know. To me, it sounds like they're not going to do anything. Yeah, that's his actions off the clock.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. I'm not saying it's what it is, but
I know. It's a weird thing to say. Like, he is your employee, and I mean, I guess, Well,
here's the thing. Unless it affects him going to work, I mean, it is his personal life. I'm not defending it. Don't get me wrong. I'm simply saying he was like not, in the ring.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that a little bit. I mean,
but on the flip side, it's a PR thing too,
right?
And they are publicly traded. I mean, it depends on how they look at it.
That's the only thing I can really think of.
If we're going strictly off of that, he's off the clock, so it's his business. That's But
yeah. That's the only thing I can really think of.
I don't want to play judge in this. So I'm just saying, but
yeah, because I mean, you're right. I can't think of any other job.
If you or I get in trouble with something off the clock, I mean, is our bosses really getting mad at us?
Right. I mean,
there's a good chance though our boss won't even know. But
yeah,
Well,
there's the thing about you got to think about like you just said. I worked with at one point. I worked with a guy who did get arrested, and they didn't fire him until after it affected him not coming to work.
Well, yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But again, he's probably not getting fired for the arrest. He's getting fired for work neglect.
Right, because I mean he was spending a considerable amount of time in jail. So
yeah.
Real quick.
I don't know. I mean, personally, I just think that it's none of no one's business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's messed up, but you're right. It's not.
It is
anybody's.
The problem is he's a celebrity. That's the problem.
Right. Yep.
Like Joe Smith gets arrested for DUI with his wife. No one cares. No one hears about it.
Nobody's calling for him to be fired.
Exactly. So.
Yeah.
Whatever, And yes, I am a huge fan of them. I don't want people to think I'm defending this. I'm not defending it. Simply saying it's their business.
Yeah, definitely. I saw this out of Ring of Honor a while ago. I'm going to butcher this poor girl's name.
I already know it.
Mayu Iwatani has won the Women of Honor title.
That's what I call her too. So I guess we're on the same boat.
All right, cool. There you go. So she almost looks like Io Shirai in a way. Like, am I wrong?
No.
Yeah. So there you go. Not sure.
Io Shirai is my Valentine, just so everyone knows.
Well, she's my favorite of the two Sky Pirates, but fine, you can have her. I'll take Kairi Sane, whatever.
No, I want to trade.
Okay, fine. I'll take the Moonsaulter. But yeah. So there's that. Did you see? Are you
real quick?
Oh, what?
just on that, to go back real quick, if Naomi's out of the chamber because of this, they're actually my pick to replace them. Just maybe out there. Yeah. I think they're going to replace them.
I think I thought they should have been in there instead of Naomi and Carmella, but whatever. I didn't even think about the Naomi thing about it, although she didn't get arrested.
No, but she was the one driving. I don't.
Yeah, in her defense, if since she wasn't arrested, obviously she wasn't drinking. But in her defense, in those big cities,
too. So
you and I have seen it. Sometimes it's like you'll go to turn down a one-way street and you don't know.
Yeah.
And if there's not cars on the side of the road or driving at you, you won't know.
Side note on that, how many times do we have an exit on the left in New Orleans?
Oh, my gosh.
That was weird.
Yes, it was. For the record, yet again, I hated driving in New Orleans. Absolutely freaking hated it. I know you weren't a big fan of it either.
Nope.
By the way, are you, just as an aside, thinking about WrestleMania weekend here, are you, you're going to laugh, but I got to ask anyway, you going to go to the United We Stand Impact show?
Well, I don't think so because it's too far out in Jersey.
Okay.
However, since we're speaking of Ring of Honor, Ramon and I are still going back and forth on it.
Right. Well,
we have to really want to go to the Hall of Fame. Like, it has to really be a thing, like a huge thing.
Right. For those of you that wow. For those of you that didn't know, it is at the Rahway Rec Center in New Jersey. Hoo-hoo.
I want to say that's where we went to Pro Wrestling Syndicate. I think that's it.
Well, the only match that I see that I give a crap about right now, the Lucha Bros versus Rob Van Dam and Sabu. That's crazy.
It's 2019 versus 1997?
Basically. The last time RVD and Sabu teamed together was back in 2015 when they beat the Hardy Boys at the WrestleCon Super Show.
That was, 2002 versus 1997?
Wow.
Is that their thing?
I guess so, man. But they also teamed on an episode of Impact Wrestling in 2010 when they lost to Beer Money. Yeah.
That was a little closer.
Yeah. And also, New Japan Pro Wrestling is returning to the UK for Royal Quest. Whatever the hell that is. Man, I thought it was weird New Japan coming to America, but now they're going to the UK. So
this is going to be one of the first times where I'm actually legit excited to talk about New Japan.
What, when they...
We gotta... No. I assume we're going to mention the title change?
Oh,
that was huge.
Right, huge. We didn't get a chance to mention it last week. Yeah, so Jay White is the new champion. I know you're super happy about that. Not that I'm not, but yeah.
It's always been something about that guy I liked. I don't know what it was. Not that I'm looking for a defense. Not that I'm looking for a defense of the reason I like him, but there's always been something about him I liked.
Right.
He's just really good.
Oh, he is. Yeah. I mean,
well, at least to you and me and a few other people.
Right. Well, at I will say this. At Wrestle Kingdom 12, I was like, I mean, he's cool. Gimmick changes, whatever. Wrestle Kingdom 13, I was like, okay, he's great. I like him. I like the gimmick. Or I love the gimmick. I like him, like, on the mic. I think he's great in the ring. He's really good.
Well, remember, careful who you tell that to.
Yeah, well, the internet, I mean, was like half and half. I think most of them were upset.
I feel like it was 70-30 maybe, upset.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. It was just like people were pissed. They were, oh, he doesn't deserve it. He was too young. He's not good. Blah 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 blah.
So you want the old guys?
Well, of course, yeah. Well, that and then they
say
that's
not a knock on Tanahashi, by the way.
Right. Well, and then they turn around and say, well, the only reason he got it was because they're desperate after Kenny Omega left. Like, really? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, because I think I don't think he's as well known as Kenny Omega, so that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's like so.
I mean, desperate would be them buying like Dean Ambrose and having him be champ right away. That'd be desperate.
Yeah,
to me.
Well, it's like so you replace a Canadian with a New Zealander. Whatever.
I remember that match he had with Juice at the Cow Palace, man. That was like one of the matches of the year.
Yeah, that match was really
good. That's
when
he really opened I always liked him. That's when he really opened my eyes.
Wasn't that one where
Juice too, for the matter?
Wasn't that the one where he knocked over JR?
Yeah. I mean, Josh Barnett almost killed him. Like, legit killed him.
Oh, yeah. I just
like,
love
well,
the...
you're done effed up now. And he just chased him like...
Yep.
I guess that was all legit, too. Like, he was really ticked.
Oh, yeah. Well, JR was, too. For a shoot, JR was pissed.
Yeah. And that's not exactly a human being I want chasing after me, Josh Barnett.
Yeah. No, I'm good with that one. Isn't the guy's name the Barbarian or something like that?
It's a couple different nicknames. I think at one point he was a babyface assassin.
Okay. All right, then. Well, there's that. So.
But speaking of that, though, real quick, I want to know who he's going to face at the MSG.
Oh, was he going to be on the G1?
I know he's going to face the winner of the tournament. The tournament, bro.
Man, we'll wait and see, man. I'm excited.
All signs point to Ibushi, but.
Well, I will say, that's another one. Kota Ibushi has said 100% he is staying in New Japan. I don't think we covered that. So he signed a long-term deal.
He was not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, I think Kota Ibushi really enjoys Japan. Like, I don't think he wants to leave his home, which some people don't. You know, not knocking the guy for it. Because, I mean, he turned down WWE for that. I don't know. It is what it is. If he's happy and he's making money, more power to him. But all right. I think that's all the news, isn't it?
Yeah. It's been kind of slow.
Yeah. So I guess there was a few more than
that.
I teased 2 stories, but we covered a couple things more. But whatever.
Also, Cousin Brian. Yeah, we'll call him Cousin Brian. Seems to think that Ambrose is probably going to stay.
Well, yeah.
I personally think he ain't going anywhere. But
Yeah. I think he's staying as well. They're just hyping it up way too much. You know?
You don't just announce that
right
on your site and you're on the road to WrestleMania. Oh, just so you know, this guy who we're probably going to have a big thing with at WrestleMania, he's leaving right after.
Well, and WWE has been basically giving him a farewell tour. Who gets that?
Yeah.
So it's
a shoot, bro. He's leaving.
It's as
he stays. I got him all in. Cool.
To steal a line for Bruce Pritchard, things seem a little kabuki-ish here. So it is what it is. But are you ready to cover some WrestleMania 1, bro?
I actually am.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here, let you know about some other great podcasts here on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. Don't forget to go to dramacityproductions.com/PodRestSociety. It is updated weekly with our brand new episodes, and you can listen to it right there on the website, wherever you are. dramacityproductions.com/PodRestSociety. We'll be right back after telling you about some other great podcasts on the network.
DramaCityProductions.com.
This is Conversations with Paycheck and Red, a weekly podcast with 2 good old boys talking about anything and everything that crosses their mind. You may not know what you're going to get with an episode of Paycheck and Red, but you sure know you don't want to miss it. So do what you got to do. Download the app, find the episodes online, and make sure that you don't miss 1 second of Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
Game ticket, $50. Hot dog, $8. Team store item, $25.
I told him I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, with some glasses on, with one eye lens out, with some flip-flops on in the ring.
Having to listen to someone's dumb sports opinions? Worthless. Some people shouldn't talk sports. For everyone else, there's the Unspoken Podcast, available on most podcasting platforms, and on the web at theunspokensportspodcast.weebly.com.
We are back, bro, and it is time for WrestleMania 1, a look back. I'm very excited for this one, actually, because this is a journey that I've been wanting to take for a while down WrestleMania memory lane. And for those of you that don't know, we're not covering every WrestleMania. I mean, we are, but we're not. We're covering each 5th WrestleMania in long form, but we're starting with 1. And then we're also going to just gloss over the previous WrestleManias leading up to the one that we are covering. This one, obviously, there are no previous WrestleManias, but there is plenty of build-up for this that we will get into. You were not watching wrestling at this point, were you?
I was 1 year old when this aired.
So that's a no.
I mean, I might have been in front of the TV. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, I couldn't. It was not on TV. It was on closed circuit.
Yeah, that's true. Well, for all of you out there was a tagline for WrestleMania 1. It was the greatest wrestling event of all time. Opinion.
All right. Before we start, you told me that you watched it back and you found it to be boring.
Yeah,
now,
the first 2/3, yes.
I don't disagree with you, but I look at it from the point of, like, this is the biggest thing ever at that point. So looking back, what was boring back then, it was probably entertaining as hell and the greatest thing they've ever seen. I mean, that's how I have to look at it, just to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, you're right. But I'm also comparing it with, whatever was going on in the NWA at the time. And, I don't know, like, I felt that their in-ring...
I think it was pretty unanimous at the time NWA was better.
Yeah.
I think this was WWE's turning point.
Yeah. The in-ring product, I felt, and not to pull a Jim Cornette here, but he always, hammers this home. He's like, WWE was more successful than us, but there was no denying that our in-ring product was far superior in almost every year. And it's like...
I would argue that for the WCW being better in 1988 during the Attitude Era in-ring product.
Well, no, he was talking specifically like Jim Crockett.
No, I know. I'm just saying WWE was winning in 1998.
Oh.
I still think WCW had better matches.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it could be argued each way.
Yeah. Well, and their problem at WCW for a while was, and Eric Bischoff admitted this, he said nobody booking or writing knew how to frickin' book a finish. Nobody.
Yep.
So he was like, that's why
I told you when I watched all those Nitros, like the first 40 had no finishes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. How do you get away with that? Like, Kevin Sullivan is not a stupid man. How did...
The devil worshiper, but yeah, he's not stupid.
Wow. Well, he is a Boston fan.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't care. That's your business.
Well, you know what else is his business? The fact that he had 2 world titles within 4 months brought home to him in Boston. Sorry, I just had to rub it in for some of you non-Pats fans out there.
Less than 4 months. It was 91 days, I believe.
Something like that, yeah. So, yeah, give or take. I saw something.
Screw the Red Sox. Excuse me.
Well, I said something to you about it, where I was like, a 4-month-old in Boston has seen more world titles than the city of Cincinnati in the past 48 years. That's pathetic. But regardless, WrestleMania took place March 31st, 1985, from Madison Square Garden, the home of WWE. Attendance was 19,121 people. I didn't think you could get that many people in MSG. Say what?
I think it's a legit sellout. It's got to be, right?
Well, it absolutely has to be. I didn't think that MSG was that big.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to also factor in they didn't have an entranceway and all that. Go back and look at it. They just walk right up in the crowd. So that's like a couple thousand right there. So.
Oh, yeah. Not to jump ahead, some of these venues that WrestleMania was in are ridiculous. Because I watched... Oh, yeah, I guess for basketball they can fit like 19,800 in there. So currently for pro wrestling they can only get 18,500. But anyway, not to jump ahead too much, but WrestleMania 5, when they're in the New Jersey, they didn't even have an entrance ramp. They came down steps.
Yep.
Like just almost like Shield style through the crowd. But regardless, just to cover some of the things that happened leading up to this, because there was a lot. I mean, this legit, regardless of what you think of the event, like match quality and all that other stuff, this was literally the biggest event in wrestling history. I'm getting most of this off of Wikipedia for all of you out there, and some of the match reviews, I did watch them all, and I reviewed them myself, but some of the stuff I got off of 411mania.com, so just to credit them. The lead up...
Plug.
Oh, go ahead.
Cheap plug, sorry.
Yeah, right. The attendance for the event, like I said, was 19,121. In addition, the event was seen by over 1 million viewers through closed-circuit television, making it the largest wrestling event on closed-circuit television in the United States at the time. A technical glitch ended the closed-circuit broadcast early into the showing at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to appease angry fans who pelted the screen with garbage. Stay classy, Pittsburgh. WrestleMania was broadcast in its entirety on local ABC affiliate WTAE TV 2 weeks later. Man, it just sucks to be in Pittsburgh, doesn't it?
Where are you going with that?
Nowhere. I just saying.
Okay. All right.
I mean, first you live on the side of a mountain, your air stinks, and now, WrestleMania cuts off halfway through. Oh, man, if we had any Pittsburgh listeners, they're gone now. Anyway.
They just came off a decade with 4 Super Bowls. They can shut the hell up.
During the 1980s, Vince McMahon's World Wrestling Federation's main competition in the professional wrestling industry was from Jim Crockett Promotions. McMahon entered Jim Crockett's successful Starrcade annual events, countered his Starrcade annual events, which began airing in 1983 by creating the WrestleMania franchise, which aired 6 months later. For the first WrestleMania, Vince McMahon began cross-promoting with MTV, which aired 2 wrestling specials. The first one was The Brawl to End It All. Think about, the names of these events back in the day.
Yep, the next one's a doozer.
Oh, yeah. Well, The Brawl to End It All, which aired July 23rd, 1984, in which a match from a live Madison Square Garden broadcast was shown on MTV. Wendy Richter defeated the Fabulous Moolah to win the WWF Women's Championship on the card, with Cyndi Lauper on her side, or by her side. Here you go with this one, at The War to Settle the Score, which aired February 18th, 1985. Lalani Kai, accompanied by Moolah, defeated Richter, again accompanied by Lauper, to win the Women's Championship. 3 championships were defended at WrestleMania: the WWF Women's Championship, WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and the WWF World Tag Team Championships. It's funny to think about that the very first ever WrestleMania, the world title was not on the line.
Yeah.
I mean, we know why, but
still the only one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's funny to think about. And the world champ was on the card. He was in the main event. He just was in a tag team match. Prior to the event, Greg Valentine had feuded with Tito Santana, or as Jesse Ventura calls him, Chico Santana, over the Intercontinental title. I like when he was accompanied to the ring by Reba McEntire that one time, and I think Bobby the Brain called her Ariba McEntire.
Yep. That's Tito's sister.
Oh my god. But anyway, Valentine defeated Santana on September 24th, 1984 for the championship. Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham won the WWF Tag Team Championships 3 months before WrestleMania from the team of, this one is a doozy, Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch.
Hell yes!
Who puts those two together with a straight face? It's weird.
Book it, bro.
In the months leading up to the first WrestleMania, Rowdy Roddy Piper began a talk show segment on WWF television titled Piper's Pit. We all know that one. On one episode of the talk show, he hit Jimmy Snuka over the head with a coconut, leading to a feud between the two men. If that's not the most famous Piper's Pit moment, that's at least number 2.
I think it is number 2.
Yeah. What would you say number 1 is? The WrestleMania one with Morton Downey?
No, when Andre turned on Hulk.
Oh, okay. So we'd put the Morton Downey one as 3, maybe?
Off the top of my head, yes.
There's also the one where he just beats the snot out of that one jobber that got mouthy with him. Do you remember that one?
I do.
Yeah, it was
Ray.
He beat the hell out of him.
The guy with the ugly blue trunks. I remember, right?
Yeah, and he was just like he looked like if Mario was a real person.
Wait, what do you mean if?
Well, we found out in Mario Odyssey that he's not a real person. But that's getting too far down the rabbit hole anyway. But yeah, Piper beat him so bad he sent him down south. Next thing you know, he was jobbing in WCW. As part of the storyline, Piper recruited Bob Orton, the Bob Orton, to be his bodyguard. Why? Let me ask you this. When you're looking for a bodyguard, why would you hire a guy with a broken arm?
Because he's hardcore. I don't know.
I guess. In another episode of Piper's Pit, Piper spoke out against the burgeoning rock and wrestling connection, which led to a confrontation with Hulk Hogan, because Hulk's gotta defend it, brother. In February 1985, the two men faced each other at the War to Settle the Score. Gotta emphasize it. Where Hogan won via disqualification after the interference by Paul Orndorff and Mr. T. Their ongoing feud led to their match at WrestleMania. Here's the final thing that led up to this event. By God, I read this. I knew about it, but I read about it, and it reminded me. I'm like, my God, this was a thing. As part of the promotion for the event, Hulk Hogan appeared on Hot Properties, which was apparently a talk show, 4 days prior to WrestleMania, where he put host Richard Belzer in a front facelock. Belzer then fell to and back then they were trying to keep kayfabe, so Hogan actually kind of wrenched it in. Well, Belzer fell to the floor unconscious and began to bleed profusely when his head hit the ground. And this isn't funny, it's just a ridiculous story. His injury required 8 stitches. Belzer later sued Hogan for $5 million, but they eventually settled out of court. The night before WrestleMania, Hogan and Mr. T hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live to help promote the event. Do you remember that talk show thing?
I've seen the clips.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously you don't remember it in person. Like you said, you were 1. So, man, that's something, man. Gotta keep kayfabe, brother. I'll make this dude pass out, and then I'll drop him on his face.
So he almost killed him. Big deal. Ratings.
Get up, rub some dirt in it. Quit being a little wimp. Anyway, that finally brings us to the event, pal. You ready to get into all of this?
I think so.
All right. Well, Mean Gene Okerlund opened the event by singing the Star-Spangled Banner. The original... Yes, for the reference, it was as bad as you can imagine. It was awful.
And I love Mean Gene.
I do too.
Just sad it's gone.
Yeah.
But man, he could not sing.
He couldn't sing this. That's for damn sure.
That's true. He sang Tutti Frutti pretty good.
And look it up. Throw it into your Google machine or your YouTube. He did a version of Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo that was not terrible. So there's that. Again, not to jump ahead too much, but jumping ahead 5 years, WrestleMania 5, Jake the Snake's sister, Rockin' Robin, sang America the Beautiful, and that also sucked. So they just, I don't know. I will say, for as much as WrestleMania
2, they got Ray Charles. So.
Yeah. As much as I bag on WrestleMania 2, you and I justifiably both have, at least they had somebody good singing America the Beautiful to open up WrestleMania 2. But the only reason Gene did it was because the originally intended singer, a celebrity guest that Okerlund and McMahon refused to name, failed to appear. To this day, nobody knows who the hell it is that was supposed to be there.
I heard a rumor it was Phil Collins.
Yeah, let's get the Brit in here to sing the Star-Spangled Banner. That's so stupid.
I forget where and when, but I heard that a long time ago.
Well,
they did use Phil Collins, one of Phil Collins' songs to open the show. Obviously, edited off. But
which one?
I don't remember. I know it was.
I know they used one of his. Oh, I'm thinking Peter Gabriel. They used one of his songs later on.
Oh yeah, they used that for WrestleMania 22. That's still one of my all-time favorite WrestleMania theme songs.
Big time.
Yeah. Oh, Easy Lover.
Oh my God! They opened WrestleMania with Easy Lover.
The instrumental portion.
It's kind of funny.
I didn't know this. The closing theme for this event was Axel F. Oh hell yeah!
Was what?
The theme from Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh God.
That's an amazing 80s track. Screw you.
Yeah, I know. It was good. And I love Beverly Hills Cop, but that's beside the point.
The first two. The third one can rot in hell. Okay.
I don't even remember the third one, so you're probably right.
Good.
But your hosts are Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse Ventura, and Gene Okerlund, who goes back and forth between announcing and interviewing duties. Also, doing stand-ups here was Sir Alfred Hayes.
That's Lord Alfred Hayes.
Oh, you're right. Lord Alfred Hayes. My bad.
Right. Get it right.
Look, I'm gonna get this out of the way right now because it's back in 1985 and it's wrestling, so a lot of people on the show are dead. If I bury somebody that's on the show, I'm not calling them out as a person. I'm going to bury a few dead people here.
That's a good disclaimer because you're going to say that a lot.
Yes.
And I mean a lot.
Oh, yeah, exactly. For future reference.
We're talking about the show, not the person.
Exactly.
Okay, let's put that out there.
That being said, as we already mentioned, Gene Okerlund sucked while singing the Star Spangled Banner. Seemed like he rushed through it, and he even asked the crowd to join in and help him out. Well, the funniest thing about that was he had to read the lyrics
because they want to bury his voice out.
Well, and the funny thing was he had to read the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner off of cue cards. Why?
It was funny. I think that's the only time they ever sang the Star Spangled Banner at WrestleMania. Vince immediately axed it.
Yep. And they asked Bruce Pritchard was asked why they go with America the Beautiful and not Star Spangled Banner, and he said Vince likes it better. That was it.
I mean, I'm for it because they do the Star Spangled Banner for everything. Why not try to be a little different?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. But continuing on with the burial of dead people, Lord Alfred Hayes.
Oh my God. That's never a good start.
Right. Well, Go ahead.
I'm going to shut up because I don't want to be a part of this.
Lord Alfred Hayes sucked.
Yeah.
Did you go back and watch this?
I did.
He looked...
But I don't have to watch this to know he was bad.
He looked so uncomfortable. He stood there with his mic, like, kind of shifting in his hand like he was nervous. His eyes kept, like, jolting off to the side like he was waiting for a cue. He was, like, very stiff and looked like he didn't know what to say or do. I'm like, act like you've been there before. Like,
if I'm right, I believe he's been legit knighted by the Queen. I mean, what did he do when that happened? Did he piss his pants or what?
Oh, he stands up. There's just a puddle under him. Oh, my God.
I mean, I'm not knocking it. That's an amazing honor, but...
Right. My God. Oh, poor Alfred.
There's your soundbite of the week.
Dude, he was not good. I'm just going to say, I'm sorry. He, like, every time he came on the screen, I was like, oh, my God.
Angry Alfred.
Yeah.
So that's what Hulk dubbed him.
Well, he also called him Awful Alfred before. I can't remember what show that was. It might have been WrestleMania 2. He called him Awful Alfred, and I'm like, what did he do to you? Anyway, he's
British, brother. We're real American.
Right. The Executioner opens up by promising to go after Tito Santana's injured leg tonight. So, there's that. The opening match is...
Horrible promo. Go off that leg. Here we go.
It was work the leg. Another thing about commentary here, Gorilla Monsoon, like his real name that he went by, his nickname was Gino. Gino, whatever his last name was. And the thing was, Bruce Pritchard talked about this, where Jesse Ventura all night never once called him Gorilla. He kept calling him Gino all night. Did you notice that?
Maybe.
Other people did too. So go back every time, because I don't know if they told him to stop, because if you listen later on, he always calls him Gorilla. But here, he always Gino and Gino Monsoon.
It's Gorilla.
So, I don't know. And then, because Bruce Pritchard talked about, he was like, if you're sitting at home, you're going, who the hell is Gino? But...
Well, it could have easily been passed off because he's talking to Gene Okerlund. I don't...
Well, I mean, during commentary...
pulling at stuff here.
And I think Alfred Hayes called him Gino at one point. And I'm like, what the hell? Kayfabe! Either way. The opening match is Tito Santana versus the Executioner. The Executioner is Buddy Rose under a generic mask.
Playboy, Buddy Rose.
Yep. Why is this a thing, by the way?
I don't know.
They sure love to put people under masks.
The next, I believe the next executioner was Terry Bam Bam Gordy, I believe.
Yes, you're right. They just love putting people under masks and having them job out at Mania back in the day. Despite his bluster and Tino's bad leg from an attack by Greg Valentine, Executioner doesn't put up much of a fight. Tito tries to wrestle early, but Executioner stays true to his word and attacks Tito's leg to counter. Executioner goes after the leg, but Tito shoves him all the way over the top rope. The flying forearm and figure four finish off this historic first match at 4 minutes, 47 seconds.
It's a flying jalapeno, is what Bobby Heenan called it.
Of course he freaking did.
How did he not get flagged for racism?
Because back in the day it was fine. Dude, he was hella sexist in WCW, but, that flew.
Yeah, it's true.
In 1995, might I add. And not to be outdone, Mr. Perfect was like, hold my beer, I can be worse. Now in the archives, by the way. But, yeah, this match was not good. Just pointing that out. And what was the deal with everybody using a figure four back in the day?
Because everybody wanted to be like the great one.
I guess. You're talking about Buddy Rogers, right?
Clearly.
All right. First WWF champion. All right. This next thing. S.T. Jones gives a longer interview than his match will be. King Kong Bundy then offers his rebuttal. The weird thing about this...
I want to point out something real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you clearly noticed. I mean, they do an interview with one guy. He walks off. The next guy's clearly standing right there waiting to walk in.
I was just about to say that. It's like, what the hell? You couldn't even do a jump cut? Like, why? This just makes these guys look like idiots because they're talking to the person who just walked away, but they're talking into the camera. Why?
That's so stupid.
Yes, this was the worst.
Okay, I remember real quick. I remember when I was 5 or 6 watching Saturday Night's Main Event, and they used to do that. And as a kid, I'd be asking myself, how come they didn't fight just right then and there?
I know.
I would legit ask myself this as a kid.
Yeah, it's stupid. Little kids can figure this out. Why couldn't they? Dumb. Regardless, I don't know. For the reference, I mean, I don't know why, but
fighting, they're entertaining, pal.
Oh yeah, entertaining somebody. But when King Kong Bundy was like standing there and they like did a close up, like that dude was humongous. Like he was huge and just wide as a house. Huge.
Big league body.
Wow. And he was white as an egg with no eyebrows.
And he had an egg for a head.
He did. By the way...
Still does. He looks actually pretty good now. I don't know if you've seen him, but he looks... I mean, he's still large, but not like obese. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, well, he also has... Last I saw him, he had a gigantic fupa. So... I don't know. Here, think about this. 1 year later, he'd be in the main event against Hulk Hogan with Bobby the Brain as his manager. Here, he had Jimmy Hart as his manager, and he's in a throwaway match.
What do you mean throwaway? He was facing S.D. Jones.
Oh, yeah. It was King Kong Bundy with Jimmy Hart versus SD Special Delivery Jones.
Oh, my God. Where were you going with that?
I don't know. I'm
leaving that alone.
Yeah, not going there. I will say this. Special Delivery Jones looked like a legit mailman. Like, he just looked like a guy off the streets. So, Bundy was actually recruited by Hulk.
Burial of a deceased person. All right, nice.
Is he dead too?
Yeah, he is, unfortunately.
Okay, well, either way, I covered my bases earlier. Leave me alone.
I know.
I did not know this. Bundy was actually Bundy was recruited by Hulk Hogan after the two met in Minnesota while Bundy was working for New Japan. I did not know that. He catches Jones in a bear hug, runs him into the corner, and finishes with an avalanche at 23 seconds, which the WWF tried to sell as a record 9 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell that was even 9 seconds.
It was not. There was no...
I want to know where they got that from.
Gorilla Monsoon. Again, I love Gorilla. For the record, I'm a huge Gorilla Monsoon fan. I loved his commentary. I think he's one of the best. But my God, that dude, when he was talking like numbers, was like the worst liar in the history of professional wrestling. He just blurts out 9 seconds, and I'm looking at my clock, and I'm like, no.
I got a audio clip of him and Jesse Ventura talking about Honky Tonk Man and Tito Santana being a main event anywhere in the country.
Yes, I remember you sending me that. So full of it. Come on, Gino. Come on, Gino Monsoon. Matt Bourne is in the back. He promises to beat... Yes. Sorry. He promises to beat Ricky Steamboat because Ricky is, quote, too nice. Steamboat's initial gimmick was apparently that he was a total ass kicker with the martial arts, but he didn't want to use his skills unless he was provoked. Since there's no money in peace, the heels would always find a way to provoke him. So there you go. For the reference, Steamboat looked nothing like what I remember him as at this point. He was wearing...
if I remember right, he was jacked as hell, too.
Oh, yeah, he was, like, jacked to the freaking guilt. He walks in, and I'm like, who blew up Steamboat?
Right?
I'm like, holy mother of God. He was gigantic. And then, on top of that, he wore just plain white trunks, plain white knee pads, and plain white boots. And I'm like, okay.
I don't even think he was the Dragon at this point.
No, he was just Ricky Steamboat. So, I don't know. And he was not the Steamboat that we came to know and love later on in life. Either way, Steamboat took on Bourne. Steamboat just entered the WWF after walking out on the NWA, allegedly due to hitting the glass ceiling of Dusty Rhodes' booking. Oh, that's for somebody else, baby. We're going to leave you right where you at. Bourne doesn't do much of note.
He'll get his later, though. Don't worry.
Yeah, oh yeah. He explodes later. But Bourne doesn't do anything of note, but he does make a great sparring partner for Ricky's offense. They work in a sequence where Ricky keeps backflipping out of backdrop suplex attempts. They exchange blows with Ricky getting the best of the battle thanks to the chop. The chop! Bourne tries a backdrop, but Ricky hops over him and delivers a double forearm thrust. That's enough to stagger Bourne long enough for Ricky to hit the flying crossbody at 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Although the opener was a little longer, this one actually seemed far more balanced. And as you mentioned, Matt Bourne would go on later in life to be, well, first he would be Big Josh in WCW.
I remember that. Oh, he was a construction worker, I believe.
No, he was a lumberjack, I think.
Oh, that's close enough.
Yeah,
he wore the flannel and the
Yep, and the hat, like the wool cap, and he'd come to the ring with like an axe handle for some reason. And then one time he walked 2 bears to the ring on chains.
Yeah,
that was he walks to the ring with chains, pulling 2 bears along, and then once he gets to the ring, they take the bears to the back because bears can't be at ringside.
But snakes and birds and bulldogs can.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Well, they're not working bears, Greg.
Where'd they get those at, by the way?
Well, probably Bears R Us, but I could be wrong. Gimmick infringement, pal.
We draw. But that's not
right. But that's not what Bourne is known for. He's the original Doink the Clown, later to be replaced by multiple people: Ray Apollo, the Brooklyn Brawler, Eugene. So there's that. All right, then there's this.
You didn't say Chris Jericho. He was at one point.
Was he?
For a minute.
Oh, God.
Like, literally a minute, but yeah.
Nice. Brutus Beefcake. Brutus the effin' Barber Beefcake. Even though he was not... Yeah, he was not a barber at the time. He was just...
2 more years.
Brutus Beefcake. Yep. He was with Johnny Valiant, his manager in the back. In the pre-match interviews, Johnny Valiant does all the talking for Brutus Beefcake. All Beefcake does is raspberry the mic. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Because Valiant does all the talking, and then he's like, he's like, "Go ahead, Beefcake," and then Valiant stands right in front of the camera, and Beefcake leans into the mic and goes. I was like, "What the f?" But it was something. Apparently, Linda McMahon was the one who named him Brutus Beefcake because she said he looked like a male stripper.
Okay.
So there's that. And originally,
they call Vince a pervert.
Yeah. Well, I guess they came up with the name Brutus, and then she came up with Beefcake. And they gave him like a male stripper gimmick. And apparently, Ed Leslie, the guy's real name, for those of you that don't know, thought it was. Well, he thought it was a rib on him, and he got pissed and threatened to quit. And Hulk Hogan had to talk him into staying.
What a loss that would have been.
Well, because Ed Leslie can do so much better elsewhere. He also apparently thought the barber gimmick was a rib and thought about quitting when he got that, too.
Look, I know people crap on it. I'll argue all day. I was a fan of his when I was a kid, so.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was entertaining, especially as a kid. And I don't think he was a bad worker for reference. I mean, he was what he was. If you're expecting a 5-star match, yeah, you're going to be severely let down. But he was a competent worker. But anyway, he took on David Sammartino, son of Bruno. This...
Man, sorry. I got to say it, though. Nepotism runs wild.
He was shorter than Bruno. I don't know exactly how tall he was. Maybe 6'1", maybe. And he was large.
Can I just say when I first saw him, I thought it was B. Brian Blair.
He kind of looked like him.
Was it Jumpin' Jim? One of the B's.
Right, yeah, one of them.
I think it was Brian Blair. I'm pretty sure it was. That's who I thought it was.
Yeah, he looked swelled up. Like, he was slightly muscular, but he was also fat. And he was short. So, I don't know. He looked roly-poly. That's all I got to say. He was doughy. I'll put it that way.
And his dad was like a Greek god.
Yeah, right? Well, his dad was the only one that got a reaction out of the two going to ring. But both of these guys sucked something fierce, with Beefer being only slightly more entertaining due to his gimmick. That, from 411 Mania, I didn't think the Beefcake sucked. David was okay. Nothing to write home about. This is a long and boring match. The amount of time it gets is inexcusable considering how short the Tito and Steamboat matches were.
Again, I got to go back to nepotism. I'm sorry. I have to.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait for the finish here. Unable to finish David off, Brutus gets desperate and tosses him to the floor, which in WWF was not a disqualification, but it was in NWA. Valiant takes a cheap shot, body slamming him, so Bruno chases after Valiant, and that leads to the ill-tempered referee disqualifying both guys at 11 minutes and 44 seconds.
So that entire match went that long for a double DQ.
Yep, a non-finish. Woo! And they said, 411 Mania said, not to sound repetitious, but why give these two that much time to lead to that finish while your good wrestlers are forced to rush?
Yeah.
That's something. All right, well, we do a stand-up with Lord Alfred Hayes and Greg Valentine. Like, you can see the next match, wrestlers walk into the ring behind him
I thought
always.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, I know. That was really dumb. When Greg Valentine walked to the ring, all you can see is the back of him. I swear to God, I thought it was Ric Flair.
Well, that was the point.
Like,
I think.
he had the robe, the same hair, everything. Furthering on with that, in the interview he did backstage, he had the feathered blonde hair, gigantic sunglasses that they wore back in the 80s, like Rick always used to wear. And he talked about being the master of the figure 4 leg lock. There you go. No. He didn't want to be Ric Flair.
Who would? Imitation
is the sincerest form of flattery, though, so there's that. The Intercontinental title was on the line in this next match, Greg. It was Greg Valentine with Jimmy Hart taking on the Junkyard Dog. Like a lot of wrestlers on the
when I was a kid.
Say what?
That was one of my guys.
Oh, yeah. I have figures of both of the... actually, all three of these guys, including the manager.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
and
they're all
them?
Jack's figures.
There it is.
Yeah. So... But no, I really do. Like a lot of wrestlers on the show, JYD had to come over after being a huge star in Mid-South. It was clear that Dog's Another One Bites the Dust by Queen was dubbed over by Grab Them Cakes.
A better song.
Oh, well, absolutely. What the hell was Grab Them Cakes? Like, what the hell? For those of you that don't
like
know...
An innuendo, but...
For those of you that don't know, Grab Them Cakes. Throw it in your Google machine. Valentine tries to work the leg in anticipation for the figure 4, but JYD uses his wide variety of headbutts and soup bones. Valentine accidentally knocks Jimmy Hart off the apron, and Jimmy took a freaking header. Valentine improvises by scooping up Dog's legs and putting his own feet on the ropes for a cheap pin at 5 minutes 59 seconds. Valentine's nemesis, however, Tito Santana, runs down and explains what happened, so the ref takes him at his word, and he just restarts the match. Okay.
Oh.
Well, I'll just finish this and get into what I have to say. Valentine refuses to get back in the ring and takes a count-out loss to retain the title. There you go. When before or after this has a referee ever just said, you know what? You're a trustworthy fella. Restart the match.
Well, he's a good guy.
Oh,
he's
well,
yeah.
Wow. I was like blown away by the finish of this. And again, 5 minutes, 59 seconds. Why? Yet
Wait,
David
I'm sorry,
Sammartino.
Too long, or?
Yeah, well, then David Sammartino got almost 12 minutes with Brutus Beefcake. There's no justice in this world, Greg.
Yeah.
Next match, or next thing, the U.S. Express is being interviewed backstage. The U.S. Express is Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo. Captain Lou Albano is...
I don't know if you know, but Real American was really made for them.
Is that what they came out to?
No, but the song was
okay.
made for them.
No, well, it went to the better guy. And it got more mileage.
Either way. So.
Well, Kurt Angle's theme song was made for The Patriot.
It's true. Actually, I think, yeah, it was him. And then Sergeant Slaughter used it for a minute.
Which is weird to think about. But regardless, their manager is Captain Lou Albano, who I have a Jax figure of.
Of course.
Yeah, there you go. During this interview, he's holding a Miller Lite. Just...
Plug, bro!
He's just sitting there with a can of beer in his hand while he's doing this interview. I'm like, living the gimmick, pal?
Well, at that point, you ask yourself, is it a gimmick?
Apparently not. Bruce Pritchard actually said that Captain Lou would come bug him in the back and just bug the crap out of him until he was like, hey, he's like, because Vince would want him out of his hair. And he's like, go see Bruce. Bruce has something for you. And then he'd go bug Bruce, and Bruce is like, damn it, dude. And he said finally Vince stopped doing that after he was like, hey, after this next match, go bug Vince on commentary. Just mess with him for a while. So he did that, and after that, Vince was like, damn it. And he never sent Lou back to Bruce ever again. That's pretty bad when multiple people are trying to get rid of him. Either way, this next match is for the WWF Tag Team titles. It is the U.S. Express with Captain Lou Albano taking on the Iron Sheik Bubba. The Sheiky baby and Nikolai Volkov. They have Freddie Blassie in their corner. The Express is the future Four Horsemen, Barry Windham, and the future IRS, Mike Rotundo.
BK Wall Street.
Are they stepbrothers, or what's their relationship? I forget.
I don't know.
I know they're related. I can't remember if they're stepbrothers or cousins. but they are related. And they're both, I think they are stepbrothers because I'm pretty sure they're both the sons of Blackjack Mulligan. So, which is Bray Wyatt is the grandson of Blackjack Mulligan. So there you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm not sure what theme song The Express came out to, but it was dubbed over by some easy listening rock music.
I believe it's Girls in Cars, right?
Really?
I think so.
Oh my God. Why?
Don't know.
You know what, guys? You look like, you look like two strapping young American men. We're going to have you come out to Girls in Cars.
I think that's what it was.
No, that was Strike Force came out to that.
Oh, okay. I was close. Close enough.
Okay, well...
Still, why would anyone come out to that?
Why not? It's by Robbie Dupree. They came out to Born in the USA. There you go.
Oh,
that makes more sense. I just had to, I'm sorry, I had to Google it because I'm like, what the hell did they come out to? Did they come out to something so stupid as that? But no, they came out to Born in the USA, which explains the easy listening saxophone music.
I find I went back and watched this. It's just funny looking back at someone being built from the USSR.
Right? Yeah, I know. Because nowadays we're like, what is the USSR?
Right?
But despite the fact that he was a former champion, make no mistake about it, Iron Sheik was not much more than a glorified mid-carder at best right here.
And he like less than a year earlier, maybe a little more than a year, he was the WWE champion.
Yeah, I know. The crowd litters the ring with trash to start this match. Sheik shoulder blocks Rotundo and tries again to gets hip tossed. Sheik hooks the tights and a lot to draw some heat from the audience. So playing the heel. Rotundo plays the babyface in peril and takes a long abdominal stretch from the Sheik. He actually hip tosses out, and that's a hot tag to Wyndham. Beery destroys every foreigner in sight, and he hits the bulldog on Nikolai. Sheik makes a save, so Rotundo socks him in the face. The referee gets distracted trying to put Rotundo out, so Sheik grabs Freddie Blassie's cane and nails Wyndham with it, knocking him spark the F out. And Volkov pins him to win the titles at the 5-minute mark.
I believe that's the first title change in WrestleMania history, right?
It was, yes. And it was only 5 minutes long. And again, David Sammartino and Brutus Beefcake got almost 12 minutes. Never forget. Mean Gene Okerlund interviews Freddie Blassie and his team after the match. Okerlund asked Blassie where his cane is, and Blassie said he never had a cane. He was great. The Iron Sheik says that he did this for the Iranians, Russians, and Arabs in New York, America, Haktui. By the way, I do not have a Freddie Blassie figure. A little sad.
Well, then you fail as a collector.
But I do have an Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov Jax versions. So there's that. I do not have a Mike Rotundo or an IRS. But I do have a Barry Windham. That one is actually Mattel. You were with me when I bought it, actually. In New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I got the Four Horsemen.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, I got the Four Horsemen 4-pack. Big John Studd is interviewed backstage and says that the duffel bag full of money is heavy. Yeah, okay. Do you remember when $15,000 seemed like just an ass load of money?
Yep.
I mean, it's still
Nowadays
hefty...
in California, they'll pay your rent for 2 months.
I believe it. I mean, it's not that that's not a good chunk of change, but who decided on the random number of 15 grand, by the way?
I think, if I remember correctly, someone said it just rolled off the tongue better. The
Sure.
$15,000 body slam match. I don't know. That's the excuse I heard.
It's just so random. Like $15,000. Sure, why not? Whatever. He had a WWF duffel bag full of crumpled up ones. Either way, $15,000 body slam match, baby. It's Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd with Bobby the Brain Heenan. It's the Colossal Tussle. Oh, yeah.
The Colostomy Connection.
What?
Sorry, I had to say that. You don't remember that?
No. Good grief.
They're called the Colossal Connection. It was him and Haku, and me and Gene called him the Colostomy Connection.
Oh, my gosh. That's awful. Studd and Bundy have been terrorizing Andre for months leading up to this. If Andre can slam Studd, he wins the $15,000, but if not, he has to retire. Studd jumps him at the bell and lays into him with some forearms. Andre comes back with chops and a headbutt. Studd falls to the outside. Back in, Andre starts choking him. Studd makes a mistake of going for a body slam. Andre leans into him with a bear hug that goes on for quite a while. Andre drops that and beats him around the ring for quite a while. Studd tries to counter a backdrop with a kick, but Andre grabs a leg and then side kicks him multiple times. And then he picks him up and body slams him for the win at the 5 minutes and 56-second mark. Andre then grabs the money and starts chucking handfuls of it out to the crowd. Heenan rushes in, grabs it, and runs away. Apparently, that was legit money, and Andre was only supposed to take a handful, throw it to the crowd. He went into business for himself and threw multiple handfuls into the crowd, which is why Bobby Heenan went, oh crap, ran in and grabbed it. So, there's that. Are you ready for this next one, Greg?
Well, yes. Wait, no, I don't even know what the next one is.
Okay, well, on the way to the ring, the Fabulous Moolah and Leilani Kai kiss Sir Alfred Hayes. They kiss him, literally leave lipstick marks on him, and he goes, goodness gracious! Cyndi Lauper says that she was trained by the manager, or trained to be a manager, by Captain Lou Albano. Because I'll tell you what, you want some good training, get the drunk guy with rubber bands stuck to his face. Bless her little heart. But was it just me, or was Cyndi Lauper just an annoying personality?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And she's not dead, so I can bury her and not feel guilt. But this next match, for the Women's Championship, it was Leilani Kai with the Fabulous Moolah in her corner, defending against Wendy Richter with Cyndi Lauper in her corner. I'm not sure where Wendy Richter came from, but she was hardcore Southern.
She likes to wrestle.
Oh, yeah. Come here, boy. Want to wrestle? I'm going to make you squeal like a pig.
Gee, I wonder if Sarah Logan idolized her.
Oh, my gosh. You remember those stupid vignettes in NXT where she was like, I used to wrestle with a goat back on the farm?
Yep.
I was like, you used to be Crazy Mary Dobson and come out to Living Dead Girl by Rob Zombie. What the hell? Richter used to be a member of the Texas Cowgirls along with Joyce Grable, which is a more interesting story than this match. Pretty sure that Wendy and Cyndi came out to Girls Just Want to Have Fun, right?
They did, yeah.
Okay. But this was dubbed over by some weird 80s production music. All the music on the show was very, they stuck to the 80s. You can tell. It's like, yeah, I could hear this playing in, a restaurant in the 80s. I realize that this is technically, quote, the death spot before the main event, but it's crazy that the women's title match is the next to main for the very first ever WrestleMania. Am I right?
Yeah, but that's how it should be, right?
Yeah, but it's just crazy to think about. It's like, oh, the women are the second to last match. That's all right. At the very first ever Mania in '85. For the record, some of these opinions were not the expressed opinions by your host. They are from 411 Mania, so just throwing that out there. So, to try to avert some heat. Richter keeps flinging Kai around in a hammerlock, and Kai keeps tapping out, but the referee won't stop the match. Like, seriously, go back and watch this. Like, Leilani Kai is just tapping out throughout this whole sequence, and they don't stop the match. I'm really confused. Moolah takes a cheap shot at Richter, prompting Lopper to get involved. Kai comes off the top with a crossbody, but Wendy rolls through for the pin at 6 minutes and 13 seconds. New champ! The crowd supposedly blows for this, but I'm not sure if they sweetened it in post-production or not.
I never heard that part, actually.
Yeah, cause I don't know. I mean, nobody ever talks about it, but seriously, like, if you're watching it on the network, it sounds like the crowd just, like, blows the roof off the place for this. I don't know. Maybe Cyndi Lauper was over in New York. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
And they had that famous spot that they always show in, like, the classic WrestleMania clips where she's, like, holding hands with Wendy Richter, and they're, like, doing some, like, they're, like, spinning around in the ring in a circle and dancing with the belt and whatever. This was a bit sloppy, but not a terrible match. I'll say that. In a post-match interview, Cyndi Lauper has lipstick all over her teeth. Because I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, does she have? I'm like, what's wrong with her face? And I'm like, she has lipstick all across her teeth, like bright red lipstick. I wonder if she ever went back and was like, oh my God.
I'm sure everyone does. Like, not her, just her, but.
Right. Well, I say that about a lot of things, especially with this event. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Up next is the main event, ladies and gents. Baseball great, former Yankees second baseman and baseball manager Billy Martin is the guest ring announcer. You're a baseball guy. Do you know this, dude?
You don't know who Billy Martin is.
I'm not a baseball guy. I know nothing.
He was hired and fired by the Yankees like 6 times.
Wow.
He used to coach the Oakland A's.
So was he trying to was he trying to compete with Marty Jannetty?
I guess so.
Oh,
I think they brought him back a bunch of times. Yeah, he's one of the most famous managers.
Well, if we all know, if we all learn something from baseball, it's as long as you don't say anything racist, you're fine. And even then, you still might be fine. Liberace is your guest timekeeper. He comes out with the Rockettes, and they do some kick dancing in the ring. Liberace has a shiny silver bell that he rings. You know what?
Ring my bell. Oh, sorry.
What the hell? I was going to say, there's a lot that I could say about this, but I'm going to leave it alone. The only thing I'm going to say is the famous Bugs Bunny line of, I wish my brother George could be here. Muhammad Ali is the special outside referee. Pat Patterson is the inside referee. They never explain why. He just is. Roddy Piper comes...
Because he's got to be when it's celebrity wrestling. That's the rule.
I guess. Roddy Piper comes out with a full band playing drums and bagpipes. They get pelted with garbage. I felt bad for the bagpipers. This was back when it was okay to just throw garbage into the ring. The heels also get pelted, by the way. Hulk Hogan, for those of you that don't know, I believe he came out to Eye of the Tiger here, right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Well, it's dubbed over by Real American, which I knew that was coming. So I was already like set, and I'm like, I think they dubbed this over here, and I'm like, yes. It is Hulk Hogan and Mr. T with Jimmy Snuka in their corner. They're taking on Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff with Bob Orton in their corner. Piper and Mr. T start with each other. Gorilla Monsoon claims that Hogan's been giving Mr. T some wrestling knowledge, and Mr. T gave Hogan some street sense.
And he probably taught him how to love his mother.
Well, of course. But there's a 4-way brawl. Orton tries to interfere, and Muhammad Ali just clears the ring. He didn't actually hit anybody. He just got in, and everybody just bailed.
Well, who the hell would sign up for a hit from Muhammad Ali?
Apparently Antonio Inoki. Piper says that he's done, and he goes to leave. Hogan will not let Pat Patterson count him out, though. The baby faces take control, and they eventually get back in the ring. Babyfaces take control. Hogan and Mr. T clean house. Piper and then Hogan get dumped out, and then Piper uses a chair, but there's not a disqualification. Don't know why. The heels get the get the heat on the Hulkster, which was crazy to me. Mr. T plays the impatient Robert Gibson role, always trying to make the save and just making things worse. Orndorff finally misses a flying knee drop, allowing Hogan to tag out. Mr. T doesn't do much of note, but he has a brief mat sequence with Orndorff, which allows Hogan to catch his breath. Hogan tags back in before Mr. T gets exposed. Orton tries to get involved again, but Jimmy Snuka stops him. Mr. T blocks a Piper swing, and they brawl while Orndorff and Orton try to gang up on Hogan. Hogan moves out of the way of a flying cast shot off the top rope, and Orton takes out Mr. Wonderful. Hogan then falls on top as referee Pat Patterson makes the 3 count. Hogan and Mr. T pick up the win in the historic main event, 13 minutes, 37 seconds. Which, by today's standards, is a very short match for a Mania main event.
Weren't they all?
Yep, basically. Piper knocks Patterson down and leaves. He leaves Orndorff in the ring just to fend for himself. Hogan and Mr. T then help Orndorff up. The history, the hype, the importance, and the great characterizations are the big reasons to see this match. The match itself was kind of blah. But it is what it is.
Brother.
By the way, the entire concept of this match and the show in general was the idea of Dr. D. David Schultz, who pitched the idea of Hogan and Mr. T against Piper and him. Of course, Schultz got in a bit of trouble for cuffing reporter John Stossel, so he was replaced by Orndorff. Schultz would be gone a few months later, and Vince would be called a creative genius for coming up with a show like this. So there you go. As an aside, Gorilla Monsoon made reference to Pearl Harbor about 20 times on this show.
Yeah, total Pearl Harbor job.
Yeah, he tried to Pearl Harbor him. Oh, he just Pearl Harbored him. Oh, and he goes for the Pearl Harbor. I'm like, what the hell? Quit it.
I'm sure he didn't offend any Japanese people.
Oh, not at all. Yeah, well, Greg, them damn Japanese, they were evil. All right? Back in 1985, we sure as hell hated them Japs. Oh, my God. This was a little hard to listen to. I told a buddy of mine that, and his eyes got really wide, like, what? They closed the show with an interview with the babyfaces backstage. T also seems to have his family with him. I'm sure his mama was front and center. They actually have closing credits to this show, by the way.
Yeah, I told you it was with that theme song from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. Well, it shocked me because, they always said, Vince didn't do credits because he didn't he hated credits. That was a WCW thing. So it was just weird to see. All right, well, that's the event. We're going to take our final time out here to tell you about some other podcasts here on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. When we come back, we're going to close out with the reception of the show and give you a little teaser for what's to come next week. We'll be right back.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Sometimes you want to go where nobody knows your name. The Small Town Mentality Podcast with Ben and Austin.
What's up, guys?
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
It's your host, Ben and Austin, from the Small Town Mentality Podcast.
And if you're some real cool dudes...
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Oh, my bad. We got to keep it PC for this promo.
You can follow us on Twitter at STMPod, on Instagram at Small Town Mentality Podcast, and on Facebook at STMPod. You can find us everywhere podcasts are played.
Yep. So if you're some real cool dudes...
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
My bad, sir. I didn't mean to call you that.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I'll keep that in mind next time we have it up. Come check us out.
Small Town Mentality Podcast.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I didn't even say sir that time.
And we are back. Let's you want to hear some of the reception from the show here, Greg?
It sucked.
Wow. No. Well, John Powell of Slam Wrestling rated the event as average, citing that it wasn't the greatest. Despite his overall rating, he praised several moments, including Orton hitting Orndorff with his cast, King Kong Bundy's win, and Andre the Giant throwing the money into the crowd. Powell, however, listed Mr. T wrestling as his least favorite moment of the pay-per-view. Really? That when you had that... I know I've beaten this dead horse a few times here, but when you had David Sammartino versus Brutus Beefcake, Mr. T...
May have been anywhere in the country.
Oh, well, yeah. This was your least favorite. Okay, whatever. He claimed that the main event match in which Mr. T took part was humorous despite its lack of technical wrestling. In contrast, Pro Wrestling Illustrated... All right, just to say this now, Pro Wrestling Illustrated has the biggest, big league hard-on for Vince McMahon and the WWE. While you have Dave Meltzer, Uncle Dave, with his hard-on for New Japan and everything not called WWE, that's the reverse of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. But either way, PWI awarded the main event match its annual PWI Match of the Year honor. I'm going to let that sit and marinate for a second. Think about that, Greg.
Well, it's not a big bar.
Okay, but you're telling me there wasn't anything better in 1985 than this?
No. Hell no.
Rhodes and Flair. No?
No.
I guess not.
Mr. T.
the way you put that. The event was also included in a July 2007 special that aired on the MSG network called The 50 Greatest Moments at Madison Square Garden, ranking at number 30. In the December 2002 issue of Wrestling Digest, the main event matchup was listed as number 5 in the most memorable 25 matches of the past 25 years. Echoing John Powell's thoughts, Kevin Eck of Wrestling Digest stated, "The match itself was far from a technical wrestling classic, but it delivered in terms of entertaining the crowd." In another Wrestling Digest article, written by Keith Loria, whatever, the main event was ranked 3rd in the top 10 matches in WrestleMania history. My God. In contrast to Powell, Loria believed that Mr. T, quote, proved to be an adequate grappler. Proved to be an adequate grappler, Greg.
I'm trying to think of a good joke here. I can think of a couple with grapple.
He proved to be an adequate crappler. I'll say that.
But did his mom like it?
Oh, I'm sure Mama T loved it. Love your mother every day. On WrestleMania Day. On the day after WrestleMania Day. I'm a dick.
That was creepy when he did that, though.
The whole thing was weird. What?
That was WrestleMania 30, right? In New Orleans?
I'm not sure.
I think it was.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I think it was. Damn, that means you and I almost went to that.
And we dodged a bullet. My God. Now I gotta go through it into my Google machine. WWE Hall of Fame. Oh my gosh, the first thing that pops up is his speech. Okay, 2014. What year was what Mania was that?
Yeah. That was 30.
Oh my God.
I went to that.
Can you imagine being stuck there for that?
Oh, we were for Hillbilly Jim.
I know. It's like we dodged Mr. T, but we got Hillbilly Jim. I called my mama back in backwoods Kentucky, and I said, baby, we made it. That was creepy as hell that he called his mom baby.
No, he called her honey.
Oh, honey. Excuse me. Yes.
It's even weirder.
Yeah, that might be. What the hell is it with these long-ass, weird Hall of Fame speeches about mothers? Well, you know, I'm just a simple Kentucky boy. Like, we know. God dang, get off the stage.
With that accent, you don't say.
Your name is Hillbilly Jim. Who, by the way, I have a Jax figure of.
Oh, freaking course you do.
Oh, man. All right, well, real quick, just a tease for next week. We're going to be going over WrestleMania 5.
Hey, you know who hosted WrestleMania 5?
Well, the President of the United States.
You know, that means WrestleMania was bigger than big. You know what it was?
Huge. Big league. It's the biggest ever, biggest crowd of all time. Humongous. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it.
They won so big.
We're going to win so big. The mega powers are going to explode. It's going to be huge.
That's spot on.
We just turned off so many listeners right now, but whatever. I had fun.
We're making quotes. I hope people don't take that as anything else.
Yep. We're not getting political here, people.
For the love of God, it's just humor.
It's funny. But anyway, before we cover WrestleMania 5 next week, we will go over the WrestleManias between 1 and 5. We'll just kind of gloss over it. We're not going to go into it long form like this one here. For all of you who do want us to...
That means we're not gonna cover Hercules and Billy Jack Haynes from WrestleMania 3.
Damn it! Now I got to go back and watch it just to remind myself of the epicness. The Silver Dome, brother. Well, they sold the gate, Greg. They drew the house.
They really did.
Hogan and Andre were just, there. My God. In preparation for next week's...
that may be more convoluted than Virgil saying him and Nails sold out Wembley Stadium.
Oh, my God. I know. Well, and then Nails didn't like his payoff, so he said that Vince McMahon touched his pee-pee.
All right, this is getting weird.
For those of you, and I don't know who you are, but I'm sure there's somebody who wants a long-form review of WrestleMania 2. Spoiler, it sucked. But for all of you that want to prep yourself, maybe, go into the archives on YouTube. Greg and I do have a review of WrestleMania 2. It is in the playlist of reviews and previews. Go check it out. Long form. Yikes. But lucky you and me, Greg, we're going to be covering it a little bit next week.
Thankfully, I've seen it enough so I don't have to watch it again.
Oh, well, hell yeah. Well, you know who is on that card as well, Greg? Brutus, the effing barber, a beefcake.
I thought you were going to say Mr. T again.
Oh, God, he is. Poor Piper. It's awful. It's awful.
God, his back must have hurt in the 80s, man.
All that carrying. Golly. Well, according to some, Roddy Piper always said, "Oh, I don't do jobs. I don't lay my shoulders down for anybody because that's how I make my living." Like, well, if there's one person you should have done a job to, it's definitely Mr. T.
I'm pretty sure the good money comes from laying on your back, jobbing out. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'll consult the Brooklyn Brawler on that one. Anyway, for reference, the buy rates, I marked them down for various WrestleManias, or for every WrestleMania. The buy rate for WrestleMania 1, keep in mind, it was closed circuit. It was not, on pay-per-view. 398,000 supposedly got this on closed circuit television. Or theater, not television. You know what I mean.
Looking back at it, why didn't they have it on MTV?
I think they just wanted to do closed circuit because that makes it bigger. If it's on cable, then it's kind of like the Clash of the Champions, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only thing I can think. That equaled out, by the way, to 1.10, if you're going to, go by that. But almost 400,000 people watched this on closed circuit. Think about this. More people saw that in closed circuit than they saw WrestleMania 2 on pay-per-view the next year. That's insane.
Well, to be fair, cable wasn't as big yet, so not a lot of people had cable. So.
Right. Well, and another thing, Bruce Pritchard talked about how much of a hassle it was just to get pay-per-view, because you had to go pick up a box, you had to plug it in, you had to go return the box, and not every place had it, and it was just a pain in the ass. Okay, well, for reference, WrestleMania 7, almost as many people watched this on closed circuit as they watched WrestleMania 7 on pay-per-view. They beat out the amount of people that watched WrestleMania 13 and 12 and 11, for that matter. Oh, man. We'll get into all of those in that beautiful era. But either way, so next week's episode, WrestleMania 5. I am looking forward to that one, Greg, because the Mega Powers explode, man. I know you're a big Hogan mark, and I've come to appreciate his work more as an adult. And the Macho Man, defending the WWF title. How can you go wrong?
I don't think they do, actually, either, so.
I don't know what the undercard looks like. I'm sorry, I'm partway through the show. Some of the undercard so far is much better than WrestleMania 1, I'll say that. And much better than WrestleMania 2. So, alright, well, I think it's time we sign off here, Greg.
Alright, later, bye.
This has been fun, much more fun than the previous few weeks. Thank you for joining me today here, Greg.
It was fun.
Yeah, it actually was fun. And we'll see you all next week when we review WrestleMania 5. The Mega Powers explode. See ya.
This has been a Drama City production.